Right, I'll start recording. Put it onto Facebook. Right, we should be live in a second. Yeah, we're live. Dean, thank you so much for meeting me today. So where are you? Tell everyone where you are, what you're coming from, and what you are doing, because it's a little bit more exciting than England.
Yes, lovely to meet you too, and thank you for the opportunity for this interview. I am currently in the Dominican Republic. Been here for the last 6 weeks. It's really the first step on my journey to becoming a digital nomad and having the freedom that I wanted.
Amazing. So what made you want to pursue this life? Like, what were you doing before? Like, what led you to being on the beach?
Yeah, so I had the typical lifestyle, the normality, the average, whatever you want to call it. I was in the London Fire Brigade for the last 24 years. It was a good job. I liked it, but I never loved it. I had the house, had the car, 2 cats, the whole lot really, and in London as well. So I was living what people would say would be a good life. But after splitting up with my girlfriend and spending some time reflecting, I was like, you know what? I don't want that life anymore. This is a good opportunity now for me to think about doing something different. And I went down the path of self-discovery, really. Did a lot of self-development because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no passion, really. I just kind of knew that I didn't want what I had before. It wasn't really what I wanted, what was really lighting a fire inside of me. So I spent a long time reading, doing some online courses and kind of just trying to find out what I really did want. And that took about 7 years, to be honest. I didn't want to just, it was a long development, but it was an enjoyable one. And I didn't want to just jump straight from the fire brigade into some shiny object syndrome and like end up broke or not enjoying myself, but just in a different position in the world. So I spent a long time trying to work out what my passion was before I made the move. And sort of long story short, after that sort of 7 years of self-development, I found coaching, and I really fell in love with coaching, and I decided and found coaching to be my passion. So that's where I'm at now. I'm the Digital Nomad Coach. I've kind of coached myself to become a digital nomad, and I want to be able to offer that service and help as many other people do that who want to live a different lifestyle too.
That's amazing.
So that's kind of my journey, really.
So when you kind of started out, what was the lifestyle that you kind of were wanting to get? Because obviously coming from just outside of London as well, like London is, well, like you said, you like having a home, a business, the car in London, you're doing bloody well, right? Like you've got to kind of where people are going, yeah, he's got a great life. But what was the life that you kind of saw for yourself, and like how is it like how you're living now? Like are you getting there?
Yeah, I mean, all I knew was that I wanted to travel because I'd been in the fire brigade, like I said, for 24 years and only having sort of mainly 2 weeks holiday. So I didn't get very far. Yeah, I think Ibiza was the furthest I got at one point.
Always fun.
Yeah, it was always good, but I'd like to try somewhere different. So I wanted to travel. I wanted to explore. I wanted new experiences. Wanted to meet new people. So I knew that whatever I decided had to have travel involved in it, and I wanted to find a way of being able to earn whilst traveling. So, like I said, that's how the coaching or digital nomad kind of stuff happened. So in my mind, it was kind of like I didn't want the fast travel, so I didn't want backpacking. I didn't want hostels. Way too old for all that kind of nonsense. Although that's good fun if that's what you want. But not for me. I wanted a little bit more luxury. So I had in mind probably like a 3 months stay in each sort of area.
Lovely.
And sort of Airbnb in it for 3 months somewhere, maybe either with myself or joint house shares with someone, and then using that as a base to maybe do a little bit of weekend excursions around that country or around that say like Europe. There's plenty of options, Asia, as a base, and then just moving around the world every sort of 3 to 4 months. So that's kind of the image and the plan that I've got in my mind, like I said, I've only just started. I'm sort of 6 weeks into my journey, and at the moment I'm in Dominican Republic. And the sort of most important thing really is, although that's the overall plan, is to have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, where I want. So at the moment I'm here, and I've been here for 6 weeks, looking like I might be here for a few months longer. And I'm okay with that, because that kind of suits me at the moment, and I've got the freedom and the flexibility to do that. And then once I've had my time here, then I'll go somewhere else, and spend a few months somewhere. So,
and that's so magic that you can just, you know, you've given yourself, like, you've created that freedom within it's really financial, isn't it? Like, freedom within your financial situation that enables you to do that. Like, amazing. Like, honor you so much for doing it. So what do you reckon, like, so far are the biggest hurdles that you've kind of had to overcome to get to here, maybe from others? The fear of failing, like, what do you think, you know, is the biggest thing to overcome?
I think there's probably two main things. One, not so much, but it definitely plays a factor, is that you're kind of breaking away from the norm, and you are going in a different direction to most of society. And not that I've had anybody turn around and say, oh, you shouldn't do that. Most people say, yeah, that's an awesome dream, go for it. But it's just kind of like, you are almost the one person that's going in a different direction. So you have to have a lot of confidence and self-belief in what you're doing, and a plan as well, I think. And then the second thing for me personally was probably my comfort zone. I got into a really comfortable position in the fire brigade. Like I said, I enjoyed the job. So it wasn't like I was going to work and sort of really hating what I was doing. I kind of just got stuck in a rut almost, because it was so easy. It was just like, yeah, this is me for the next sort of 10 years, picking up a wage, sick pay, holiday pay. The shift system was not too bad. I had lots of friends to sort of distract me and do, you know, the average lifestyle that I was on about. So it was kind of breaking that inertia and actually taking action. And once I decided what I wanted, then it was all about just taking those steps. I could have taken that big jump straight away, but like I said, I wanted to plan it a little bit more before I did take that final step. So yeah, getting over that kind of lethargic inertia and getting out of your comfort zone was probably my biggest.
Well, that's amazing. And to like change something, like, we know that it's like nothing can change if you don't make the change, but you've kind of like gone through the fear, made the change, and then like put in some steps to actually follow, but with lots of kind of malleability, and like, we're obviously in water, so lots of flow as well within it, right?
Definitely one of my mantras, like, go with the flow. It's very important to me. It's kind of like, I always say to people, having structure and having a plan actually gives you more freedom. It doesn't actually bind you in chains, because if you've kind of planned your life in a particular way and you've got a bit of structure to it, then you can grab hold of any opportunity that comes along, and you can twist and turn and take different paths easier than if you didn't really know what you was doing and you didn't have the facilities or the tools to be able to take those new pathways. So it's kind of like, people think, oh, you go with the flow, you're just kind of a hippie and you don't do anything, but it's actually takes quite a lot of work to be able to go with the flow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love the way that you've just summed that up, and actually it makes sense, like, within my life, because I was like as well, like, look, you know, I go with the flow, but actually I do like structure as well. And that's like, you know, we talk about the riverbanks, like masculine, feminine, don't we? It's like, and you need both of those things for actually there to have the ability of flow. Like, you need that structure with the water to have you know, both things achieved. So yeah, love that. So obviously you've been in the fire brigade, you loved it, it was a great life. But if you had your time now, and we don't have regrets, but if you had your time again, like, what would you say to yourself like a few years ago? And what do you think has been the biggest attribute to your success of getting to create this freedom lifestyle?
Yeah, so I think I would say to myself, probably back in my 20s, I'd probably say two things. Firstly, don't drink so much. Went out and drank way too much and partied too much, and I had a great time, but you know, I could have done a little bit more with my time. And with that time, I would do personal development. You know, we leave school and 90% of us just kind of, that's it, done with education, not interested at all. Let's watch football, let's get drunk, let's party, you know, watch Netflix until our eyes bleed. But actually self-development for me was the kind, probably was the turning point for finding coaching and also for planning the life that I've got now. And I would go further and say that it's self-development in so many different areas. So, you know, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and also financially, you know, be able to live this lifestyle now. I put into place several plans back when I sold my house five years ago. You know, I could have gone out and blown that money, but I knew that I wanted this money right now to be able to travel and to give myself a little bit of a buffer for when the business really kicks off and makes me financially free. So having that IQ and EQ of finance is also very important. So that kind of wraps up in your own education. So I would say to myself or to anybody else who's thinking about it, is to kind of almost design your own degree. And do that through reading, mainly loads and loads of books out there, through certain podcasts, through certain YouTube channels, through following people like us on social media and just asking questions, getting out there and just kind of asking people how they did it. And just keep self-development. You know, if you're not growing, you're dying, which is another sort of mantra of mine. And I fell in love with that process of self-development, which is why I became a coach. So yeah, that I think that's the biggest factor, and that's the action that I think a lot of people need to take to get out of their comfort zone. And then, you know, as you know, outside of your comfort zone is where all the magic happens. So get out there and start. And the quickest and easiest piece of advice I could give anyone is to turn the TV off, throw it out the window, burn it, and pick up a book and read.
100%.
And a good book, not just I mean, you can read fiction to relax, but you know, non-fiction, there's so much fantastic knowledge out there from decades ago, from hundreds of years ago even. Just start reading, and read with a pen and paper and take notes, and read the book more than once, because that will start really giving
you just mentioned Napoleon Hill, and so that brings in for me Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor read Think and Grow Rich every single day of his life from the age of 27 until he just sadly passed, you know, a couple of months ago, wasn't it? And you just think every time you read something, even if it's like that 10 pages a day, 20 minutes a day, you're going to absorb something different and you'll forever be growing. And my papa used to say to me, it's like so annoying when we're at school, but what have you learned today? What have you learned today? And now I see that, like, I see why he used to ask that, because even in his 70s, 80s, he was still learning something. And so I think that, you're so right. Like, the magic is in just like the growth every day. Otherwise, what are we doing? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, we have to keep growing in all areas.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to work alongside you a little bit more and watch your journey and watch where you hop around the globe. But thank you so much. And we will put this on Facebook, YouTube, with all your links and everything. So yes, thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.